welcome you on this day, August 21st, I can check, 2025. Let's take a moment of silence to reflect or pray. Okay, today our flag salute is by Member Kordeliski. She's going to check all those off. And our four-way test is by Dan Shin.
Imagine a flag. We do have a couple of guests today.
Okay, I have a guest that is checking out Rotary, found us on the website, and also Googled our speaker today, so no pressure on him. But thought it was a very interesting topic. She visited another Rotary club, so it was a little too early for her, so I'm just going to check out the new one. But this is Laura, dancer, and she has a travel and tourism company, so please welcome Laura.
Hi, I have Patricia Alamos with us. She works with me over at the MC Conference Center and Hotel, and so we're trying to get back involved into the community. She is our senior housing manager. Has been out there for about 15 years, and so just a lot of moving parts. So bringing her in and we're getting back involved. Thank you.
Several announcements to get through today. Well, Stephen, bear with me, fine. Sorry, I should have warned you.
Just a minute. Down, you good? Gail Wilcox went to the hospital about a week ago with a really serious infection. She went into ICU. She's out of ICU now. We've been in communication with her family, not with her directly. So keep her in your thoughts and prayers. Once we find out her situation a little more, we may be asking for anyone who can send a meal or provide a meal to do that. And if you're so, just anticipate that. If that's something you could do, please contact me, text or email, and we'll start planning it out.
Thank you. Okay. Oh my gosh, I did. Yes, I did forget a guest. I apologize. Can you please introduce?
I have Holly McKinney here as my guest today. Norman Public Schools. Thank you.
I'm so sorry. I looked right at you earlier and never made it back over there. Yes, please also welcome Holly. Thanks, Greg. Okay, a couple more announcements. Next week we meet at the Beacon Project, so not here. Come to the Beacon Project. If you have school supplies that you would like to donate, please do that before the meeting so they can get them all separated and lined out for us. We will be assembling backpacks for students. So, on your table are a couple of sign-up sheets. One is for pancakes, and I would highly encourage you, especially if you're new, to participate. If your schedule allows, we serve pancakes at Norman High once a month. It's usually the second Tuesday of the month, and it's, unless you want to cook them, you don't have to get there till 7:15-ish. I didn't say Tuesday. It is Wednesday, but is it the second Wednesday?
Almost always, yep.
Okay, sorry. I don't know what is going on today. of the month. 7:30 to 9 is usually the majority of the volunteers that are needed. So there's a sign-up sheet on your table for that. There's also a sign-up sheet or a form to complete if you want to be a Rotary reader at either Madison Elementary or Jackson Elementary. The sign-up sheet explains a little bit more, and we'll go into that in the interest of time, but if you're interested in making that commitment, please fill that out and get that back to me by the end of the meeting. Hopefully that will launch in October. And then the tour event is Saturday, and I do want to recognize Joan, Liz, Barfield, and Jamie for the hard work that they have done. It's going to be amazing. So if you don't have tickets, you can still buy them on the website. And then it starts at 7. So if you were thinking it started at 6, you have an extra hour to get ready. It starts at 7. And there are still volunteers needed for a checkout and cleanup if you are available at the end of the event. Okay. Any announcements that I failed to acknowledge? Yes, Barbara. Okay. You can be Barbara's guest. So see Barbara if you want a ticket. Okay. We are gonna induct another new member today. This is exciting. Like, how many weeks in a row we've done this? So Carla Atkinson, I feel like this is long overdue. Earlier, and I think we're all just a little bit running late. Okay. On behalf of the members of Norman Rotary, I am delighted to extend a warm welcome to our newest member, Carla Atkinson. Joining Rotary is not just about becoming a member of the club, it's about becoming part of a global community dedicated to making a positive difference in the world. As Rotarians, we uphold the values of service, integrity, diversity, and leadership. We are united in our commitment to improving lives locally and globally through our various service projects and initiatives. Carla, we are excited to have you join us on this journey of service and fellowship. Your unique skills, experiences, and perspectives will enrich Norman Rotary and contribute to our collective efforts to create lasting change. As you embark on your Rotary journey, you will have the opportunity to connect with fellow members, participate in meaningful projects, and engage in activities that align with your passions and interests. We encourage you to take full advantage of all that Rotary has to offer and to share your ideas and aspirations with us. Once again, Carla, welcome to Norman Rotary. We are thrilled to have you as part of our Rotary family. We look forward to working together to make a positive impact in our community and beyond. Everyone, please extend a warm welcome to Carla. Okay, we have a Paul Harris recognition today. Mr. Wynn, you want to come up?
Brenda, thanks for covering up your legs this week. I just take another week. Literacy, that's what we're doing today for the program. It's important in this club locally. It's also important globally. It is one of the most important things you can do for children is teach them how to read. And in Guatemala, I have a heart for Guatemala. I've been there a couple times. There's been a program going on there for a while. It started 25 years ago. It's a reading program. 2 brothers were there. They were teaching, and they realized there's no books, so they bought books. And then there was this big celebration in this little village where these books came, and there was a Rotarian dentist that was working there. He wanted to know what was going on. He comes over, he goes, I think my club in Ohio would be interested in working with this. Well, now, 25 years later, it is a huge success. All these children know how to read, they're going to college, it's made a huge difference. So, one of the best parts of it is they rent the books, the kids do, and so it continues. They replace the books as they're worn out. So those are the kind of projects Rotary does locally. Half of the money goes locally, half the money goes globally. So it just so happens one of our members, and it happens to be our president, Liz, is now a Paul Harris +1. And what I've noticed about when you go to the international conventions, you find out how important the foundation is. So all past presidents or whoever goes to the conventions continue to give. So the Rotary Foundation thanks you for continuing that.
Okay. I'm going to introduce our speaker. It is my pleasure to introduce Amanda Kordeliski. She is the Director of Libraries and Instructional Technology for Norman Public Schools and the current president for the American Association of School Librarians. She has held a variety of leadership positions within the ALA, AASL, and the Oklahoma Library Association. She is a member of ALA Policy Corps, Unite Against Book Bans, and the Policy Corps Advisory Board, where she advocates for libraries at the state and national levels. Amanda has also served as the Director at Large on the AASL Board of Directors for YALSA. You can explain all on the 2023 Michael L. Prince Award Committee and Best Fiction for Young Adults. Amanda was named a 2025 Library Journal Mover and Shaker for her school library advocacy work and was the recipient of the 2023 Oklahoma Library Association Distinguished Service Award for her advocacy. She is also a recipient of the Oklahoma School Librarians Technology and Education Award, the Oklahoma Poly-Clark School Librarian of the Year Award, and the Oklahoma Educators Association Kate Frank Award for Human and Civil Rights. How I know Amanda is we have been working together since May on LitFest, and I have gotten to know her, and it's been my pleasure. So please welcome Amanda as our speaker today.
Stephen was trying to be very helpful, and thank you so much for that introduction, Liz. I started working with Stephen when he was with NPS to really share out about libraries and social media and really encourage our parents to start reading to their kids, which I'm going to talk about a little bit later. And then one day I told him my ultimate dream, which was to have a giant literature festival, which is much bigger than what I'm going to show you right now. But he connected me with Liz, and the three of us have just said, yes, and let's do this and let's do this for the last 4 months. So it has been an incredible opportunity to get to work with Rotary for the LitFest, but also for your success cycles. I will say that I can see the numbers going up for digital checkouts for all of the elementary schools where you guys are purchasing nooks for kids, and there is a strong excitement about being able to read a book or listen. So this is, everything here is a working title, so subject to change, but this is the title that we came up with for LitFest, which is Once Upon a Page, where every story begins, with the hope that every year is a new chapter. So I've already talked about the Rotary partnership with NPS, and this just really strengthens that bond and gives parents a better avenue to be able to reach out for more assistance and know more supports that are available besides just what we offer with the school district. Okay, don't try to read these words because this is AI and it does not like words. But when I uploaded our notes into an AI and asked it to create some photos and stuff for me, this is what it gave me. And so I love that the Rotary is up there. And I do think we'll have definitely a catchier name than Elementary LitFest or Literature Festival. But one of the reasons, since COVID, we've spent a lot of time within NPS libraries talking about how to get our kids reading again. We were doing a bang-up job before COVID, and when kids came back, they really struggled with attention spans, that just to complete a book is a lot. And so a lot of them have fallen behind, and we have tried to really, really make being a library a fun place to be and infuse literature across every subject area so that kids can find the types of books that they're looking for. And then back in May, there was an article, a study was done by HarperCollins Publishing that reported that only 26% of Gen Z parents actually read to their kids, that they mostly prefer to hand them an iPad. And so that is just this butterfly effect of by the time that they get to us in elementary school, they don't know how to sit for a story, but also they have lost that critical thinking and that imagination part because they're just not exposed to literature. And last year we did a focus group with our Citizens Advisory Council on libraries, and one of the biggest feedbacks that we got were that parents wanted to be more involved, especially with the library, but they didn't know how, because a lot of these elementary parents, their kids were in kindergarten, first and second during COVID, and so they kind of missed that whole spiel of this is how you volunteer at school, this is how you get involved, and they want to do more, and so we're trying to find some avenues for them to be able to participate more. We're also seeing more and more of our kiddos coming to our pre-Ks without all of the skills that we need, and so we're trying to find ways to make sure that every kid starts school with all of the advantages that Norman can provide. So these are the 4 big things that foster early literacy and grow readers. We always joke that it's a classroom teacher's job to teach a kid to read, and it's a librarian's job to teach them to love literature. Because I don't do the nuts and bolts of sounding things out, I just get to connect kids with books that are interesting to them. So explore books. The more books that they can be exposed to, the better. And so this literature festival is an opportunity as a family for parents to bring their kids and to find some good books, to learn how to select books for their kids from the bookstore, how to use the public library, and also just how to read to your kid. Everybody thinks that reading aloud with a story is you just open the book and go, but it's so much more than that. Because it is an interactive event where whoever is reading the book to the child is asking questions and asking them to make predictions and doing all of those things. And so we talked about having a parent track at the LitFest that includes, this is how you read to your kids, this is how you find great nonfiction for your kids. This is how to do a family book club. All of those things to get kids reading at home, because reading at home will increase all of their ability and their reading level, because that's where they spend their time. And instead of playing video games, what we're trying to do is make reading exciting so that they are willing to sit down and curl up with a good book. Building vocabulary is just a byproduct of being exposed to more words that you're exposed to, the better vocabulary that you have. And then reading books, as you all know, allows you to share adventures with everybody else who has read the same book and taken the same adventure. So we thought about how we can hit on each of these four core areas and be able to make something, an event that is fun and exciting and kids want to come to. Kids and parents want to come to. So Liz and Stephen and I worked on 3 different strands of programming. Raising a Reader, which is a parenting strand that is going to give helpful how-to tips and a couple of 45-minute workshops if parents are interested. Then we have some picture books that are infused with music and the arts, and you can also see how a read aloud is going and meet some picture book authors and illustrators. And then finally, for our kiddos that have graduated out of picture books and are ready for chapter books, we have highlighting chapter books, nonfiction, and graphic novels. So this is where it gets tricky because we're not quite sure how much money we have yet, and so we can't sign contracts with authors. But Dennis Matthew is he works for Mustang Public Schools. He's an elementary speech pathologist. He also writes children's books, and he infuses all of them with music. music. He is fantastic. And the way that he does author visits is we decide how many kids are coming, and basically we buy books from him, and every kid who gets to hear him gets a book. These are my 3 favorites of his. My Wild First Day of School, that I think most of our elementary schools probably read last week. And then How Grizzly Found Gratitude, which is a very popular book in elementary schools in November when they do a lot of gratitude journals. And then my favorite, which is Bello the Cello, that infuses music and musical language into every single page. He has this month's calendar and is ready to go. He has also been networking for me. He's very excited. And has talked to some other Oklahoma authors that he thinks that we would be able to come and have present as well. So Tammy Sauer is a picture book author. Many kids in Norman have had the opportunity to experience her. Her books are so fun. Nugget and Fang and Word and Birdie, I think I read 9,000 times when my kids were little. But she does a spectacular presentation. And so we would just have to wait and see how much money that we have or how many presentations that she would be able to present. What we talked about is doing a Friday and a Saturday, with Friday being just for school kids, and they get to hear the authors and get their book and get it signed and just have all of that. And then the big event is Saturday, where those same authors would do more sessions, so if a kid really loved Dennis or Tammy, they can go back to those. But what we want to do is have something that's all-encompassing for all of our families so that they would be interested in coming and staying for the day. So this is a picture of one of Dennis Matthews' school visits. He brings his guitar, I think he has a keyboard too, and they do all kinds of singing, and he really infuses that love of the arts into every single author visit that he does. And then last week, the Library of Congress, in partnership with Every Child a Reader, which is a nonprofit group, is sponsoring Matt Barnett, who is currently the National Ambassador for Children's Literature and Young People. It was a big time. Through the Library of Congress. And so what they do every year is whoever gets named the National Ambassador for Children's Literature, they do free author visits all around the country. They try to go to every state. They have not been to Oklahoma yet, and the application for his springtime visits just opened up Liz and I met on Friday, so last Wednesday opened up. I feel with NPS and Rotary together that we have a really high potential to get this, especially if they're looking to present in Oklahoma, and the Library of Congress and ALA, they fund everything. So if we could get him, he's a huge author, which would be a big draw for parents and families. And he does all kinds of books. So I put these my two favorite of his picture books up there, Extra Yarn and Sam and Dave Dig a Hole. But he also writes graphic novels, which I cannot buy enough of for my kids. So Mac Beast, Kid Spy, and The Terrible Two are some of his series that he writes about just kids in experiencing regular problems, but they are graphic novels, and I could spend every penny that I have on graphic novels, and the kids would still say, hey, do you have this new one yet? And so that will be a really big draw. One other thing that we talked about as an access or an avenue for authors is a program that we have at 10 of our elementary schools called Book Break. And this is online, but the author visits are very short, they're recorded, so they run for lower elementary about 15 minutes, and they usually do an activity. And so we would be able to pull wherever our whole ends up being, if it's chapter books or graphic novels, able to pull some of those and have them running for the kids that are interested in that. However, Pioneer has the big one that includes adults and teens and middle grade. It has all of them, whereas we just have the elementary one. And so I think that in partnership with Pioneer, that might be an even better avenue for us to have some big name authors who are doing some really great interactive and short things. It's not come and listen for a kid for an hour. It's, hey, I'm going to show you how to draw an elephant and piggy, and we're going to read an elephant and piggy book, which they love. And then with chapter books, it again depends on how much money we are able to fundraise. Louder Than Hunger is currently on the middle school Sequoia list. It's by John Shue. He has also written a book called The Gifted Story that is about the affective side of reading and how to get kids engaged in books and how to keep them reading. So if we could get him, he would do a presentation on Louder Than Hunger and a parent presentation for The Gifted Story. The book right above that, Find Her, is by Ginger Reno. She is an Oklahoma author. She is indigenous and lives in Tahlequah, which is where the book is set. And it is also on the middle school Sequoia list, and both of those are just fantastic reads. When we pick Oklahoma authors, the price goes down significantly because we're not having to pay airfare and sometimes not even lodging. So both of these, I think, are within. John Shue lives in Texas. But both of those are an option for us. And then the favorite thing of all the kids, creepy books. So many creepy books. This is Skeleton Tree and The Secret Life of Sam, are both by Kim Ventrella, who is a former librarian with Pioneer Library Systems, and she does pretty incredible author visits as well. So we have tried to broaden. We started with let's have Rick Riordan. He's very expensive, and he doesn't even do visits anymore. But we started really big, and then we've tried to scale it down to have a really successful inaugural LitFest that has lots and lots of potential to grow. So I've already hit on some of these, but these are some of the activities that we would like to offer at LitFest. Librarians, model read-alouds. I've talked to Evelyn Kwanzaa, who is our Director of Fine Arts, and her stagecraft kids at both high schools are very interested in building us some props and sets and things for kids to dress up and take pictures in, as well as I have a photo booth from one of our book publishers that is happy to donate that we can take little, like just a little picture that we can put the Rotary LitFest on it, and every kid gets to take home a picture with all the props. And then my favorite thing to do, which is book talk, we will have as many librarians as I can fit talking about all different genres of books so parents and kids can find what they're looking for. One of the things this year that we noticed about our trends with checkouts last year is that at the elementary level, our nonfiction has exploded, and kids really are just devouering nonfiction and want to read it most of the time. It's a little bit more expensive, and it's harder to find. So a kid knows where the Harry Potter books are, he knows where the Percy Jackson books are, the Babysitter's Club, but when they go to pull something in nonfiction, it's a little more difficult for them to find what they're looking for. And so we are trying to make it to where kids can easily find, if you want to read a book about tractors, or you want to read a book about an Air Force jet, that those are in bins that they can easily pick themselves, because right now they need to wait for the librarian if they don't feel confident. And our librarians are very, very busy, and we don't always get the opportunity to sit with a kid and find exactly what they're looking for. And then strategies for building readers, how to encourage discussions about stories. Pioneer has some really incredible book clubs that have discussion questions in them for all kinds of children's and YA Lit, and I would really like to encourage Pioneer to come and demonstrate those because they're open to anybody. You just check out the bag, and it comes with usually stickers and like 12 copies of the book and a discussion guide, and they are really great that you can have a family book club and figure out how to read at home. One of the things that we encourage all of our teachers to do in Norman is to read what the kids are reading and make sure that they know what some of the literature is so that they can connect with kids and that they know, oh, I read that Ginger Reno book, that Finder, that's really, really good. I think you would like it. Because that, when your teacher is excited, kids need to have that modeled for them, to know that reading isn't an assignment or homework, it's fun, and that there are all kinds of books. So if you don't have something, or you think you don't have something at home that your kid will read, I'm hoping that the LitFest will better equip you to find the types of books that you're looking for. And then the importance of setting aside time for your family to read and your kids to read in the evenings, and sharing what your favorite books were with your kids. So our potential partner list is much longer than this, but these were some that came immediately to mind on who would be willing to be a partner or a donor. And Barnes & Noble we already have. I know that you already have such a great relationship with Barnes & Noble, as does NPS through the success cycles in our nooks. And so I know that Liz has talked to them, and that we would let them kind of take their pick as to what they want, and then go from there and see how much more money that we might possibly need. And then every literature fest that I've been to does something called an Artist Alley for student artwork. One of the things that we want to do is have a contest for a logo, and make as many bookmarks as kids who submit, or almost, that we pick a top 10 or top 5. So every kid who submits something could potentially find their picture in a bookmark when they get to the LitFest. A t-shirt design, so we would print and sell t-shirts at the LitFest on Saturday, and then a poster contest to, again, advertise all around town and get it up as much as you want. And I know that those are fair, or they at least used to be fairly effective, because I made one for my school carnival in elementary school, and I made my parents drive to David's House of Carpets to see it, because I wanted to see my poster up, and that's where it was hanging. But this is a really fun event at the Center for Arts and Learning, and libraries and schools. We love acronyms, so we call that the COW. But it has an area where they have put up display hooks, and it is very easy to display artwork there. And so we talked about turning that into an area to display all of the submissions for all of the posters, t-shirts, and bookmarks. And then the nitty-gritty stuff, we've got possible sponsorship levels. The dream would be to have a title sponsor, but we could easily do this with $2,000 to $5,000 sponsors, all the way down to a bookworm at $500. Our goal, or mine and Liz's goal, is to make sure that every kid who comes to the LitFest leaves with a book. Whether it's a picture book or a chapter book or any of those, we want them to have those books in their home libraries, because we have a lot of kids that when they are at school, they have access to the school library and to their classroom library, but often when they go home, there aren't any books. And so they have what we call a book desert at their house, which has increased in the last 2 years because of the closing of the central library. We have a lot of our kiddos who can no longer walk to the library, and so the library isn't an option for them. So if they don't get to take a book home from school, then they don't really have access to new books. And so really working to make sure that every kid who comes gets to leave with at least one book, but the goal is a couple more than that. And then this is my digital business card, and has my email, my phone number, and all of that in it. If any of you are really, really excited and want to talk about it more. And then some of the books and research that I talked about. The presentation one will get you back to this presentation, and then resources are a lot of the professional books that my librarians and I have read to really figure out how to get kids reading for fun and reading voluntarily.
Are y'all excited? Does this make you excited about what we're excited? I'm very excited. We have dreamed big, and with your help, we will have this be a great LitFest. Yes, working title. We also have a further, oh wait, let me ask you any questions. Any questions for Amanda before I call Craig up here? Yes, Jeff?
It's unclear to me how you envision this breaking out into Friday and Saturday, and what might be in each one.
So our hope is that on Friday that we at least have Dennis Matthew, and we can bus kids to the Cal to be able to attend that author visit, and then send home advertisements to encourage their entire family to come back on Saturday, which would also be at the Cal. And it has a lot of different rooms. The Center for Arts and Learning is the old Journey Church, and so they have a bunch of classrooms and a bunch of, black box theater and all different kinds of things that we have plenty of space to do probably as many breakout rooms as volunteers that I have and that we have space for. And then we've also talked about having an exhibit hall, which that sounds really big and fancy, but just a place where they can connect with bookstores and resources and all of those things that parents don't always find unless they're going to a big activity within the city. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, you got it.
Are you having to find an iPhone here at these early stages? Is that kind of technology getting in the way of learning?
Well, this year is different since there is the state law that since kids can't have cell phones or any smart device, which includes your watch and your ear pods. And so I have been very pleasantly surprised. I was expecting it to be a really tough start to school, and it really hasn't been. And the kids are more engaged and talking to each other more, whereas before they have their phones out during, in between class periods, and they don't communicate with anybody. They just watch their own feed. So I feel very encouraged by what's happening. One of the books on the resources is a book called The Anxious Generation, which kind of started a lot of this with how kids develop such strong anxiety and short attention span, and it really kind of feeds right into finding literature as rewarding and important.
All right, thank you guys. Our own fellow Rotarian. Yes, our own fellow Rotarian has a few words he'd like to say. Greg?
Thank you, really, that's too much. I'm thankful that Amanda came and talked to us. I was thankful to hear her say that the Rotary Success Cycle has increased leadership levels and are to check out circulation levels, I guess is actually what you said, right? And schools we're in, and as she said at the end of her meeting, a lot of these kids in these, especially in these schools, don't have books. So the idea about giving away notes was so that we were giving them the entire library that they have access to. And it looks like that seems to be working some. So we are going to change it this year, and I'm excited about that. The way we're changing it is instead of giving bikes twice a year, December and in the year. We were giving away notes once a month starting in October, and then we were giving away gift cards every week. And basically, if kids met their reading goals, they were in drawing to be presented one of these. So instead of the gift cards, we're going to change to books. And we're working with Amanda and the librarians kind of come up with a list of books that we're going to do. So that's an exciting thing for us, so that we will actually be giving out individual books to students. That costs a little bit more. I think it costs a little bit more. We don't know that for sure yet. But anyway, so this whole project basically costs about $28,000 a year, which is quite a lot. That covers everything. We're giving away 288 books, 120 notes, and 32 bikes, and helmets, and note covers, and locks, and those types of things. We are having the book fairs, which we had one last weekend, and we had great participation. Thanks for everyone that helped. We raised about $45 or did I say $4600? $4,600, yeah. Raised about $4,600 last week. So that was really good, and we're going to have 4 of those a year. There's a cash flow problem kind of with those things. So in order to kind of help with those things, there was a foundation was created in 2020 to help by giving scholarships to dementia students to go to school, or I guess that's technical school. I'm really old. And it's been going on for a few years since then, and we're going to expand the use of that, and we're going to donate some money to this cause from that foundation. $6,000 to $7,000 is what we'll be able to donate every year. We can donate more if you guys will help. So you can make a tax-deductible gift to the Opportunity to Learn Foundation. And this year we'll just pass that straight through to this function. So if you give $100, $100 will go towards buying the books. And we're continuing that. Next year we might not quite give 100%, I think we're doing 75% anyway. And we'll do it kind of like the Rotary Foundation's done that, 25% will come out in 3 years, kind of do the same thing. We want to be able to grow it a little bit from that. So anyway, so think about that. And again, it's tax deductible because the Opportunity to Learn Foundation is a 501c3. I want to encourage you, don't do this in lieu of giving to the Rotary Foundation. I give to the Rotary Foundation, and will continue to give to the Rotary Foundation. The Rotary Foundation does a lot of things. This program would not have started if it hadn't been for the Rotary Foundation. So, please don't think of it that way. I'd rather you not give to this and give to the Rotary Foundation. But I'd like for you to give both. So, anyway, that's all I got. Anyone have any questions?
Please give Greg a round of applause. He's worked really hard on this program. Okay, any further questions for, yes, Jameson? How do you get?
Write a check.
Write a check.
I don't own checkbooks.
We'll work on that.
I'll get that.
We'll get back to you.
Okay.
So, yes, a good point. Okay, I want to thank Amanda for being our speaker today and partner in crime, basically. So, I love this, and I'm very excited about where we're going with LitFest. You all saw some opportunities up there. Those are kind of tentative working sponsorships, but we will need help to make all this happen. So, more on that in the future, but if you are excited and you want to participate in a committee for LitFest, or you want to talk about sponsorships, please see me. I do want to thank our guests today, Lauren, yes, there you are, Patty, and Holly, I'm so sorry. And we had a guest sneak in at the last minute, Lauren, right? Okay, and Lauren is from NPS. Hi, Norman, hi. Okay, I was trying to hear you as we were talking, so yes, Norman, hi, she was really interested in our program today and what Amanda had to say. So thank you for being here. Please, guests, come back anytime. Just a couple of quick reminders. We are not here next week. We are at the Beacon Project, which is formerly Pantry Partners. Same place, just go there. And La Tour de Ben is Saturday, so hope to see you there. And I think that's it. You're adjourned.
Did you play them for the way you wrote them about those?